All right, the first thing you're going to want to do being a first lady, first thing you want to do is go to your map, go down to the left hand corner. There is a magnifying glass. Click that magnifying glass. You're going to see, do you want to search for zombies, or up at the top, your bookmarks. You have the special, you have the friend button, enemy, and alliance. These buttons can be explained later, but for now, click special. Click on the capital and save it under special. Nickname it whatever you got to do. If you've already saved some stuff under special, delete them, re-add them later, and add the capital in the first slot so it's easier to find when you need to. Because what's going to happen is when people want a buff, they're going to message you, and let me try to find somebody. They're going to try to message you, and they're going to give you their coordinates. And let's say this person gives me their coordinates, and they say, I want this buff. When it's ready, you're going to click this button right there. It looks like, a monumental building. And then you're going to assign them a title. That first little button right there. And you assign them the title that they want when it's available. Now, go to the capital. The other way you can do it is if you see a person and you know their name, up here where it says Shot ET, look out to the right, there's two little squares. That button is a copy button. What you can also do is if they don't give you your coordinates in time and you need to hurry up and assign it to them, you can go to the capital, click title assignment, go to here, and when it's time to reassign them, you paste their name there. Now there are 5 different buffs. People are normally going to ask for development, which is your construction buff. You get 50% construction speed up, 25% research. The second most popular is science. Research is 50% and construction's 25%. Secretary of Interior is the third most popular, and it's because you get resources sped up 100%. Then the last 2 that no one ever really thinks about using is strategy, which is your hospital and healing, and then your security of training. You also get a buff, 20% construction speed up, training, and research. If someone asks you how does it work, what you're going to need to do is explain to them, do not start anything till I give you the buff. What you're going to tell them to do is they need to stop all their timers. See these little timers right here? You got to go ahead and hurry up and speed them up and finish them. Otherwise, the buff will not take effect. All timers have to be stopped and ended, and nothing needs to be going on. Then once they get the buff, then they can wait a few seconds and start their construction or their reproduction or their researching. But that will not be a good buff until you have finished your timers first. It only takes effect on the new items that you begin. So that's how the buffs work. And then when it's time for you to find a first lady, you need to go to World Chat and ask for, someone to volunteer. You type in here who can be a first lady and everything. And how I do it, every first lady is going to be different with a little bit of things. But what I try to do is I try to be fair as possible. And what you're going to see is at the under each title, there's usually a timer right here between those 2 buttons that says dismiss and reassign. Right above it, there's going to be a little timer. They're like that one right there, 3 minutes and 44 seconds. When that timer runs out, you can hit dismiss. Now, if they say they're done, you could hit dismiss if they're already done with it, but it does you no good because you cannot reassign that title until they're done with it. Now, what I do to be fair is, like right now, it's really slow. This person's normally a first lady, so I'm gonna leave them a tad bit longer. See this person, they sometimes have been a first lady, so I'll leave them a tad bit longer. Same with her. This person, I'm not really sure, but for now, I'll just leave it a little bit longer. But I'll use this one since they are finished, just to show you how it works. When they're done, because there are people that will be watching these timers and won't ask you for the buff till that timer's up. They'll ask you after you do this. Dismiss them, and now it's open. And now I might get a request to be in that buff, because everyone watches the Capitol a lot, the people that constantly ask for the buffs, and they'll watch for that timer to end so that they can hurry up and get in that slot. Right now, while I have no line, I can just, if someone asks for a buff, I can say sure, and then they'll say, all right, thank you. You say you're welcome, and then when you wait for them to say thank you, then you can put number 1, number 2, number 3. And if they respond, just put number 2 again. And if they say, what are you doing? Just say, sorry, I need to see this number so that I can keep things in order. And eventually they'll quit talking. But you can either keep the number that way, or just get you an old-fashioned piece of paper and a pencil and a pen, write down your list of buffs, and then start making a list and keep them in order. And some of these people, especially a lot of the people in Korea, they will ask, what number? How long do I need to wait? Don't tell them how long, but tell them what number they are. Because here's the thing. When it starts getting towards the end of the night, some of these people will fall asleep. And so what I do, let's say I have 10 people in line, but number 3 fell asleep. Number 3 is next up for that buff. I say, hey, number 3, you're next. If they don't respond while the buff's still being used but hasn't run out of time, I'm like, okay, well, when that timer's up, if they haven't responded in the next 2 to 3 minutes, they get skipped. Now, if they respond within the first 5 minutes that they were supposed to have it, I will make them next. So number 3 now becomes number 4, but number 4 became number 3. So I just swapped them because you were late. I asked you if you were ready. You didn't show up. And then when it became your time, you never responded. So if you respond, though, when it is your time, within the first 5 minutes, because I try not to leave a gap of assigning it. I don't just sit there and wait, because you got a long list that's about to be piling up. So if they do respond within the next 5 minutes of it already being their time, I make them the next person and just swap them with whoever was after them. That way I put them back in line. Now, if it's been 10 plus minutes, they're going to have to start all over and get back in line, because I'm sorry, but I have not only messaged you in advance before it was your time, 2 and 3 minutes before your time, but also during your time slot, you have not answered me. So you now have been completely put at the bottom of the list. You get skipped because I've got a line to keep up. So that's how I do it. And when it starts getting towards the end of the night of your shift, of you needing to end being the first lady, start cutting off your list. If you've got someone who can be a first lady within the next 30 minutes to an hour, 6 people equals 1 hour. Cut off your list at 6 people. And if you don't have a list under the other buffs, you can accept 6 people under those. But tell everyone, hey, I'm no longer taking a request for this specific buff. I'm currently in the process of letting my list run out. And then you need to direct your messages to the new first lady who is, and then tell them who it will be. And then give them a time frame of when they will be taking over, so they can know who to start hounding. And that way they can go ahead and be making their list while your list is running out. So if you have any more questions, though, just ask. If you want to know how other things work, feel free to reach out, and I can maybe try to make a video on that as well. Thank you. Holler at y'all later.